All right, so on a serious note, this is a conversation I've been trying to have for a while. I feel like it's very important for all youth out there, but specifically in certain communities which are more underrepresented. I feel like it even matters more. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I probably titled the video "College is a Scam" or the misconception is college, or you're doing college wrong. And that's not entirely what it is, but in a way, I'm just trying to get people to understand this whole idea or narrative of going to school that has been falsely perpetuated to us as a generation. I feel like has been putting a lot of us in bad positions because we don't really understand what it is we're getting into or why we're getting into it. So I want to first start off by saying college is an investment and a vessel that can get you to other places. It in and of itself is not a destination. It's not the final arrival to anything. It is only an investment or a vessel that can catapult you or put you in position to be qualified to go on to do something else. Like, you don't make money from going to college, you know what I'm saying? That's not the way it goes. But a lot of people, a lot of kids have been taught, go to school. And then you go to school and then they tell you, while you're young, hey, don't worry about what you need to do. You'll figure it out. So you go to school, people go to college, then they're in college, and then now they have to pick a major. They don't really know what the major's for, but they're just trying to pick something. Some people have an idea, but some people don't. They're just picking a major. Then they graduate with a major in whatever, and then they try to parlay that major into some way of making money, for profit. And that is really, to me, a backwards way of approaching this whole collegiate system. Because why would you pick some random major or something that you just like, learning about in college? Because majors are really nothing. It's just like kind of like a focused undergraduate study of something. Doesn't really normally make you an expert in anything. And then you're trying to figure out what fields accept this major and how I can make money. To me, it will be a much more deliberate system or a much more wise decision is if you first figured out what you wanted to be. This is before college, like in high school. And then, or have an idea of what you wanted to be, and then decide if college can get you to that destination. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, going to college and doing the other way around would be like hopping in the car. You don't know where you're going, and you just say, hey, I'll figure somewhere out. I'm just jumping in the car and I'm driving, and then hopefully I'll arrive in somewhere I want to be. Versus if you see where you want to be, then you can decide what mode of transportation is best suits that. Like if you need to take a car. If I'm going to Nicaragua, I might take a plane. If I'm going to somewhere else, I might take a boat. So college is just a vehicle, you know what I'm saying? And that vehicle is not good for every destination. So that's why I feel like it's so important to shadow. Shadowing, it to me, is something that all parents should be encouraging their children to do as early of an age as possible. Whether that's middle school, definitely by high school. So you should be going and seeing what it is that you might be interested in. And have your children, because they're not too young to understand stuff that they like. Real quick story, I always thought when I was a kid I wanted to be an architect. And then when I got to high school, I joined this club where I had to, pretend to be an architect. And I had to design this hotel model with a blueprint and everything to scale. And I realized as I was doing that, like, I hate this. Like, I hate designing blueprints. Even though I liked math, I hated that whole tedious thing of putting together. I hated that whole thing. And that made me realize I never really wanted to be an architect. I just thought it was the right thing to do because my parents had been telling me to do it. It wasn't until I ran into, a dentist, Dr. Price, shout out to him, who I got to shadow and see what he did. And I was like, I want to do this. And so then I could put all my focus into doing that. And to do that, I knew I had to go to college. And in college, to meet the prerequisites of dental school, I had a biology major because that kills two birds with one stone. So that was why I used it. And the same can be true. Like, what if but college is not the only way, and these professional or professional school routes are not the only way to make a good living or to do something you enjoy. Like, you could have shadowed an electrician and realized you didn't need to go to college. You could have shadowed a plumber who makes a lot of money and realized you don't need to go to college. A mechanic, an entrepreneur. There's so many different avenues to make money, and college is only good for a certain section of them. And then within that section, you have to also figure out what way you're going to use college. Because a lot of people graduate with like a criminal justice degree and they realize they want to do, psychology, or you graduate with a degree in communications, but you want to be a doctor. Like that to me, you're not using that investment to the most potential that it has. And I think if we start earlier with that intentionality of getting our kids exposure and seeing what's all out there, signing up for internships or just going to look and follow certain careers at a younger age instead of, making all our summers basically frivolous, times to chill, then I think we'll have more success and more people ending up in the fields that I feel like they were meant for, that they really want to get in. So I just feel like, we got to make sure that we understand college is not a destination. It's just, part of the journey that you can use to put yourself into some amazing positions. It's also a fun experience, but I don't think that warrants that type of investment, because a lot of times people will be spending $50,000 a year. If you're doing that for a fun experience, you know what I'm saying? To each his own, but I don't know if that's the most wise financial decision. And so I just think, making an investment like that without knowing what type of return you're getting isn't always a wise decision. And I feel like people having this mentality where they feel like college is the right thing to do is also what's leading a lot of people into this whole lifelong cycle of debt, because college is not a right or wrong thing. It's just an investment. It's a tool to be used when warranted. If you know what type of return you're going to get, or you have a good idea, then it's good for you. If not, I feel like you should, make sure you're doing your research on it. And if all else fails, it is kind of a good experience, but I think for the most part, we have to start being more intentional about what type of futures that we want to hold. So, that's just my take on that. Mm-hmm. So college is a scam. Nah, I'm just joking, bro.
Hey, look, you said it. Look, you said it all, bro. Said it all. All I'll say is that, really, there's nothing else I can say about that. He really said it. Listen to what this man is saying. All right. Hey, anybody listen to him.